Good afternoon. You are through to Shaun at Microsoft Customer Support. How can I help today?
Oh, yeah. Hi there. One of our listeners of our show has played roughly 35 hours of the Halo Infinite multiplayer, and he's only at level 7 of his battle pass.
Right, so...
Well, I just wanted to know who actually wanted Halo to be free to play in the first place, because I feel like people keep saying to me, but it's in beta and it's free to play. What do you expect? And I'm just sort of confused because I don't remember anyone actually asking for Halo Infinite multiplayer to be free to play. And these people keep saying to me, oh, it's in a beta, but all the microtransactions work perfectly and they have a working coin store. Cosmetics are already implemented. So I just feel like it's a bit of an insult that Xbox's biggest IP has been reduced to sort of this sort of nonsense, and experience gains are tied to generic daily challenges, meaning that there's absolutely no incentive whatsoever to win matches, and it just stifles progression.
Okay, but sir, you have called Microsoft Customer Support.
Yeah.
I don't really understand what you want me to do. Have you tried tweeting relentlessly about your issues and getting into arguments with strangers on the internet?
Well, yeah, obviously I've tried that, mate.
And have you tried saying, I'm not going to talk about Halo anymore, and then tweet 20 minutes later about Halo?
Well, yeah, obviously I have. Do I look like an idiot to you?
Well, yeah.
Excuse me, mate. Did you just call me an idiot? Is that... Look, tell you what, I want to speak to a manager right now. Now.
Okay, sir, please hold.
Right, this fucking idiot calling me an idiot. I don't understand it. All I want to do is fucking play Halo, not chase around after some...
Hello, this is Duncan, Customer Support Manager.
Oh, hi, Duncan. This is Shaun from the Complaints Pit.
Oh, yeah, all right, Shaun. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I work 60 hours a week in a confined box for less than a livable wage, grinding away endlessly. My entire existence becomes about working long and hard enough to barely survive in this dystopian hellscape we call capitalism for one of the world's largest organisations in the world. But other than that, all good.
Cool, sounds great. So what do you want?
So I have this bloke on the phone just complaining about Halo being free to play, that although the excuse is it's a beta, why they have fully functioning battle passes with paid cosmetics and XP boosts, yet simple things like rewarding players for playing well and being able to select game modes aren't in the game. And he also said...
And the frustration is the fucking gameplay is really solid, and if people actually fucking listen to me, they'd actually know that my issue isn't with the gameplay, it's just actually the AAA industry as a whole, and it's not just fucking Halo that's the problem.
And on top of that, players becoming payers is something that Xbox fanboys have accused PlayStation players of for the past 2 years, and now they are doing the exact same thing.
All right then, yeah, stick him on, I'll have a chat.
Fuck's sake, and not only that, they fucking delayed Forge again.
Hi there, sir, my name's Duncan, I'm the Customer Support Manager for Halo Infinite. How can I help?
Basically, I hate free-to-play games, and I feel like even though I've tweeted about it relentlessly for almost a week, 343i haven't changed the game to be exactly what I want it to be.
Okay, sir, well Shaun turns with you, aren't happy with the progression. Have you tried buying the Battle Pass for Season 1 that will last for 6 months?
No, I haven't actually. That's sort of part of my argument.
We have also changed the cost of the coin store. Now, our best seller is only $7.894, and with that you can purchase these weekly buy now, miss them forever cosmetic items. Have you tried buying an XP boost?
No, again, I just want to reiterate, I don't like free-to-play games and the predatory practices that they put in place that nerf progression in order to push these paid boosts.
Yeah. But we are different to all other predatory free-to-play shooter games flooding the market because, well, we aren't the worst.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I guess there are worst games out there.
Yeah,
you know what? Actually, Duncan, you completely changed my mind.
Yeah, great. Love to hear it. So the thing is, though, Harry, is that the XP boosts sometimes don't work, so you do have to pay for them, and they just don't do anything. But don't worry, because like we've all said, it's only a beta. So you don't have to buy the Battle Pass or XP boosts.
Oh, wow. So if I don't have to, then maybe I should. Can you take my card number over the phone? It's 343117.
Also, if you have any really shit weekly challenges, don't worry, because it's free to play, so therefore any of your critiques don't actually matter.
Right, but there's going to at least be some campaign cosmetics I can unlock, right?
Yeah, but they're all shaders. But look, I know that cosmetics within the Halo multiplayer has been integral to the core concept of the game series, and companies like Rooster Teeth literally wouldn't exist if not for the customization options available in-game. But again, it's free to play, innit?
Yeah, well, you know what? That has actually really helped. Thank you so much for your time. I'll tell you what, I'm going to just go and reinstall Halo Infinite again for like the 4th time, and I'll just plug my credit card just directly into the disk drive, actually, because that'll probably save a bit of time.
Okay, then, fuck you. Have a great day. Bye.
I will. Thank you.
So what happened, Duncan? Did you explain the game's free to play? Therefore, none of the critiques of the disgusting and predatory nature of the modern AAA gaming industry is relevant in any way, and that it is still in beta.
I even hit him with the old, but other free-to-play games are worse than us line.
Oh, shit. Oh, I'll have to remember that for next time.
Yeah, right, I'm off, Shaun. These transactions aren't going to sell themselves.
You are listening to the Gamer Watch podcast.
Yeah, are we literally just jumping straight into it, or?
I'm an old hand at this, chaps. I'll be good.
No, honestly, don't worry about being good. You can do anything you want. I mean, we ended our last episode having to clarify the fact that we aren't all massive racists. That was...
Speak for yourself.
Did you literally just say speak for yourself? Well, on that, welcome to episode 45 of Gamers Watch, I guess. That's about as good as an intro, Shaun, isn't it?
Oh, wait, are you recording?
Yeah, we're recording, mate.
Are you shit? I didn't realise.
Yeah, it's about to bust his
whatever.
Japanese voice out.
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
I was going to
recording.
save that for the game, the indie choice. I won't
No,
now.
don't worry, mate. Don't worry. We won't hear your Japanese accent on this show. That is for after hours. So yeah, welcome to episode 45 of Gamers Watch. Shaun, kick us off.
Yeah, we're halfway there, number 45 in bingo slang.
Halfway there?
On that now. That is apparently 45 in bingo. It's a bit disappointing, isn't it? Because there's only 90 numbers in bingo.
Oh,
so
that's shit.
45's just halfway there.
Fair enough.
So yeah, but it gets better from there for the next few.
So look out, guys.
Tune in next week.
And don't just go and Google bingo slang because that will ruin our entire setup.
Yeah, please don't, because I've got it saved as my bookmark for each episode now.
For fuck's sake.
I am Shaun, and as always, I am joined by Harry.
Hello.
And Duncan.
Hey, great mates.
And this week we have once again a special guest from XboxEra, but this time it is John.
Hey, fellas. How you doing?
We're really
All
good.
Hey,
Harry's a bit worn out from his Halo complaints.
Oh, shut up.
I just heard some of them in the pre-show that should never see the light of day. He's not wrong in some aspects.
Oh.
So, you know.
I've only done like 87 tweets about it in the last 3 days. Shaun.
It has been a week that just over a week now that the quotes beta has been out, and I feel like we've done 5 episodes worth of recordings talking about Halo. The amount of times I've just gone on my phone and been like, "Oh, we're talking about Halo again."
The Twitter algorithm's starting to silence me now as well. No one's seeing our fucking tweets at the moment. Ah, well.
Is that because you're getting blocked by everyone?
Yes. Yeah, it might be. I've upset so many people. Oh, this fucking idiot again. Block. It might be that. I fully expect that a lot of people have muted us over the last week, but well.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It. Well. Carry on with the housekeeping, Shaun.
If you like this podcast, and even if you don't, then follow us on Twitter, please, which is @GamersWatchCrew. Don't block us or mute us because of Harry's Halo talk. Subscribe to us on YouTube, which is youtube.com/GamersWatch. And then if your platform of choice allows it, give this episode a little like, comment, or review. Buy our bloody merch. I don't know who we're sharing it with. Share it with your local Microsoft complaints team.
Yes. And that will make sense because we haven't yet recorded the little skit we're going to do prior, but yeah, that
but you would have heard it already.
Well, not if you're listening to it on the audio side, Shaun, because I don't include them on the audio. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, go and watch us on YouTube.
And keep up with the times.
Can I just jump in quickly and just apologies to anyone who got upset by our skit on the previous episode. We didn't actually run over any dogs when we were recording that.
Can you just explain this? Because I only caught like the back end of this conversation. Please explain what happened.
So one of my good mates from work was watching it.
Name and shame, please.
I'm not going to shame him because he's a lovely bloke, but my mate Dan was watching it, and his wife got very upset over the skit and didn't understand what we were doing.
The Mexican dog killer skit.
The Mexican dog killer.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't see the episode prior where Shaun spoke about the little bit in Forza where you can run over a dog. But apparently she got very upset. So sorry about that.
Funny though,
guys.
Really funny.
We don't batter dogs.
Yeah. Gamers Watch. We're sorry we're racist. We don't batter dogs.
What would you rather? Hey?
What a tagline. Not racist. Don't punch dogs. Oh, fuck me.
And
on,
also
Shaun.
hit the notification bell on YouTube to be reminded when we're about to premiere, which is every Monday at 7:30 GMT, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific.
Okay, that's it. That is the housekeeping done.
All done, dusted, and tidied.
Also, Shaun, just to answer the question you just asked me on Facebook, no, I can see your WAV file. Don't worry.
Sweet, that's all right.
Okay,
then.
just a little bit.
Otherwise, it would sound like all three of you are just talking to absolutely no one for parts of this.
To be fair, most podcasts sounds like me just talking to myself. So I'll go a little less crazy this week. So with us this week is another one of the crew from XboxEra. We are joined by John Clark. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I've, long time listener. Very, very nice to be here.
Well, it's a privilege to have you on. We are going to be talking about your Kickstarter shortly, because for anyone who hasn't been paying attention, possibly the best Kickstarter that I've seen in a long time has launched. And no, it's not the Ouya 2. I know what you're all thinking.
Oh, fuck me.
That's a callback.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's even better than the Ouya. If that's even possible.
You're not selling it right now.
John, it is awesome to have you on the show. We absolutely love all the stuff that goes on at XboxEra. And I know that through speaking to a few of the guys on Twitter and having Geordie on last week, they were very excited about something that was coming up. And obviously now we're able to talk about it, which we will do shortly. First, how can people find you? How can people find your work? And where can people go to find all of the XboxEra content?
Blimey. If you want to find me personally, it's _Sicko Mechanico _ on Twitter. Good luck spelling that. I'll leave you to figure that out. I am not going to do it phonetically. But yeah, mostly at XboxEra, and you'll find a gateway to all of our stuff, or xboxera.com also has all the links on YouTube, etc. But yeah, we do a bevy of Xbox platform related content, so news, reviews, previews. We have our own forum, and yeah, we're doing lots of projects. It's been a very busy, manic, insane year, and it's nice to not have to keep secrets anymore, because outside of that one, I had to also keep the secret that I'd been working with 343 on Halo Infinite since like 2020, which was fun, but also horrible because I had to lie to everybody because obviously Microsoft lawyers are a bit scary. So it's been it's been a strange year, but it's cool that it's a good year out in the open. Yeah, busy but cool.
Sponsored by Michelin. Sorry, that was the dumbest joke I've ever said. That's ridiculous. So in between working with 343 and obviously working on the Kickstarter, in between that, have you had much time to play Xbox this year?
Not as much as I would have liked, truth be told. But I'm very lucky in that XboxEra isn't just me, because if it was, well, it would be very boring. I have fortunate enough to have aligned with and met multiple really, really brilliant, creative, smart, funny people that somehow in this crazy world all managed to get along without tearing each other's heads off.
That's what you like to hear.
It is nice to hear, right? Nowadays, lots of people just get angry at each other for no reason whatsoever. But these guys
just summed up our podcast basically in a sentence.
Well,
I don't know what you mean.
There's a level of what's the phrase? Brotherly love, jovial, shoulder punching with you guys, which is probably why it's so charming to listen to. I presume that you guys have been friends for a very long time.
Interesting.
We call
fact,
it friends, but
we say
Duncan and
friends.
Shaun have never met. Duncan and Shaun have never met in real life.
But I probably prefer Shaun than I do Harry.
Yeah. As I say, Duncan won't come to my house at random times in the day and leave pots of oats.
Yeah. So I've known Shaun for about 15 years, and I've known Duncan for about 6. And me and Duncan used to work with each other. Me and Shaun used to go to school with each other. Pretty sure, Shaun, correct me if I'm wrong, pretty sure I used to just bully you at school.
Yeah, you were one of the few.
I find that so hard to believe.
I don't. But yeah, Duncan and Shaun haven't yet met. We are working on it. We are, by hook or by crook, we are going to travel the 40 miles distance.
It's not a huge distance. I was thinking like maybe one's in Scotland or something, but no, 40 miles. Come on.
Yeah, it's literally
do it on Sunday.
Half an hour train.
Yeah, it's half
literally
an hour
the
train
next county over.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's on the edge of the next county.
It's just more a case of being bothered to do it.
Yeah.
And to be fair,
from a-
half the time we've known each other, it has been lockdown, so
Yeah,
we actually haven't been allowed. But
That's fair. I mean, and look, Nick and I, we've done the Xbox Era podcast since day one. We've never met, and the only reason that we're on a podcast is because I was like, I'd like to do a podcast, and he happened to run the Xbox Era Discord, and then our brains merged, and then we were like, oh, let's build a website, and then we were like, oh, it's a bit lonely, the podcast sitting on this website on its own, so we thought go big or go home, and that's kind of how Xbox Era was born. Was just going around that community and going, who's good at stuff? And we found people, and people believe in the project now to such an extent that then we get pitches now daily. Oh, hey, can I come write for you? And then they say, what are your rates? And we're like, this is a completely community volunteer project. And people look at the sort of output that we've got and they're like, really? And we're like, yep. and then they realize we're not going to offer them any money to come and write for us, and they leave us alone. But it's
it's not just about that, is it?
No.
It's about a common love for Xbox. I would say that the production value that we put into our show far exceeds the quality.
I love the animation.
That's all on Shaun. That
so good.
Yeah, to be fair, it is all on Shaun. He is a fucking wizard. But
it's really, really clever.
But we do it because we love creating content. We could get 5 people a week listen to our show, and we would still do it exactly the same way that we do it now. And, through speaking to a few people within the community, they genuinely cannot believe that Shaun does all of our animation for us. Like, they cannot.
It's really good.
They cannot grasp that it is me doing the audio and Shaun doing the video and Duncan showing up. But they cannot.
Sorry, the ideas, man. Yeah.
How's it like he sees it, Mickey?
To be fair, Duncan, you are the ideas man. But they cannot grasp the fact that it is just the two of us behind the scenes doing the editing for the audio and the video. And it's the same with Xbox Era. Like, you look at the quality content that you guys are putting out, and it is like high level production stuff, but it's not from a point of like, I'm getting paid to do this. It's because we all share that same love of Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds really nerdy, right, to say that, like, I love Xbox, man. And I don't think, certainly for us, it wasn't primarily. It was never, the thing that we created was never set out to make bundles of cash or get everyone in Ferraris, although I'm sure the team, if they're listening, are all fervently disagreeing and shaking their heads. They definitely want Ferraris. But there was this general feel, I mean, when was this? Back in 2018, 2018, that there wasn't very many good places to actually talk about the platform. It was hard to have actual decent conversation without bad faith posting, concern trolling. I mean, the console wars stuff is just so lame. It is just ridiculous. But that was I think the primary reason a lot of these people really wanted to come on board with this. And initially, stuff was a bit ropey if you go back and look at our earlier stuff. But then I think about 10 episodes in, we had Pre-Drag, who is our, I think we've labeled him visual production specialist, which I love because he is, and he elevates every single thing that we do. And we're lucky that we've got guys in the video team, we've got guys on the writing team, we've got guys on the news team, but everyone is best efforts. Everyone is doing what they can when they can. There's no, oh, you haven't done enough this week, you suck, kind of berating. It is just, hey, who wants to review this? Oh, that's my genre. I'll pick it up. I'll do my best. And 9 times out of 10, we hit the relevant embargo, etc. So it's not always easy, and arguably juggling that between a real job and a family and everything else for everybody, I think mostly is hard, but we somehow pull it off. And when I look at the content that we produce and I compare it to, the big boys, the Charlie Big Potatoes out there that get paid for it, and are producing all of this huge content, when we did the Halo previews, and I was like, looked at them and I watched a lot of others, and I was like, yeah, I think ours, gameplay-wise and footage quality-wise, is probably up there as one of the best.
That Halo preview that you guys put out is one of the best preview videos that exists on the internet right now.
Well, thank you very much.
I think what is happening at the moment with the community-led gaming industry coverage is that it's showing that the people like IGN, GameSpot, and Kotaku, they're old game, they're old media. They're not really taken that much notice of these days, other than people quote retweeting when they say something stupid. And
or Kotaku.
Yeah, I know. And I think what is so brilliant about these community-led ventures is that everything that's being put out is being put out not to meet a deadline or to get a certain amount of click-throughs. It's written by people who genuinely have a passion for what they're writing about. And it isn't about make something that will get us seen 1 million times. Name this article a certain thing. Like GameSpot the other day put the article about loot boxes within Halo. It's very clear that there's no loot boxes in Halo, but they purposely renamed a loot. Well, what was it? It was a loot.
It's a vault or a room, whichever one you want to name it.
And they renamed
armor locker, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they renamed a vault to a box so they could call it a loot box so that they could get a certain amount of quote retweets. And that's the sort of stuff that the mainstream gaming media are putting out. And that stuff's tired and it's old, and people are realizing that now. So what you guys do is amazing because you don't fall into those traps. It's
we avoid all the clickbait as best we can. It's very rare that you'll see us actually. Sometimes we'll toe a line because you have to. There is nothing worse than you spend 8 hours recording all this stuff and putting it out there and then nobody watches it. That's gutting.
Boxing Burger episode springs to mind.
But you don't want to. I just don't agree with misleading the audience or framing it in such a way that the primary goal is not information but revenue. That's not what it should be. And I stand by that. And we'll never have, our faces with red arrows and shocked expressions. We'll never move into the negative algorithm of Twitter, because why would we want to do that? There's so much bad in the world. Why would I want to focus on it?
The reason that Shaun is laughing at that is because we're purposely making the worst current clickbait titles.
I love
They're
it.
purposely bad.
Well, you're parodying, and that's fine, that because that is satirical. It's when it's genuinely done. When it's a minor gripe, right? And I don't disparage. While I say all of this, I also say respect the hustle, right? Because content creation is hard. It can be unforgiving, and people do what they got to do, especially if it's their main line of work. And I understand that it's not mine, so I have the benefit of saying all of this from this la-di-da position of not having to worry about bringing in some scratch and feeding a family or whatever, because I've got a job that isn't this. But I can't stand personally when I see things like shocking reveal and you won't believe this on you. It just makes my shit itch, like big time. that's a phrase I probably wouldn't say on my own podcast because we're trying to be PG-13, but I'm here and it's I'm
say
off
what you want.
Indeed.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that is, people aren't looking for these clickbait, oversaturated, click-through generated content anymore. And you're right, you do have to toe a line because, I joke about it, but we recorded a really, really good episode with Boxing Burger. It's one of my favorite episodes because we go into depth about content creation and the mental health aspect of it. And for me, it was a big turning point having that conversation with Boxing Burger about personally me taking this too seriously because it's not my job. I have a job outside of this. And no fucking person has watched that episode. Literally nobody. We put 3 hours into the record. I put however many hours prior doing the research for all the topics we spoke about. Shaun did 10 hours of editing for the video, and we got
I
70
hammered
views.
a perfectly good piece of toast for that episode.
Yeah, and it just got nowhere. So maybe we do need to start clickbait. Thank you, John. Yeah, we're going to start doing clickbait.
You're welcome. Welcome to the house. Yeah, respect it.
So what is your role within XboxEra then, John?
So I get to give myself all sorts of fancy titles. So between myself and Nick, Nick had the Discord. I had, I think you mentioned Dunks earlier was the idea man. I would argue that is totally me. Except I can do video editing and I can write on occasion. But
ooh la la.
I was very much like, I really want to do this. I've always wanted to create content, and I've enjoyed making montages when I was a kid, all sort of this sort of thing. So when it came to XboxEra, Nick and I had the conversation. We were like, yeah, let's do it. So it was this conjoining of time zones because he's in Australia and I'm over here. And he has the Discord, which is it's an unusual thing. It's kind of purposefully kept very, very small and very lean. And the main reason for that is that aside from sort of this hardcore group that are very chatty and very communicative, there's a lot of developers in there, including other Microsoft folks and EA folks and all sorts of things like that. And if we start letting in the masses, it would just go horrible because people suck, frankly. But when we came together,
People
we
suck.
this.
You heard it
People
here
suck.
first.
Yeah, it's true. A person is clever. People are stupid.
Yes.
So I labelled it, and Nick and I kind of co-founded the whole shindig. So that's the titles we gave ourselves, and then from a creative aspect, I got to be editor-in-chief. Doesn't that sound fancy? Ooh.
I like that.
Shaun,
can I be editor-in-chief?
No, fuck off.
Oh,
see,
brilliant.
this is how it works. You ask, you don't get. But yeah,
Request
I think
denied.
if I was to ask the team, and I hope they would agree with this, I would say that generally it's kind of to guide the voice and tone, because it's a team, right? When we write something, when we put something out, it's not always just, especially if it's like a joint article, it's not always just that one person's point of view. When we do our opinion pieces, we actually loop back with the team, we have a discussion on it, and we put something that we all feel we can stand behind. Reviews are slightly different because reviews are an opinion from one person. You can't jointly review a game unless it's like some big project, which you might see us do with something like Halo Infinite's multiplayer, for example. But it's just basically to be that kind of guiding voice. I do a lot of reading and course correction of articles. There's a lot of other people within the team. Like Jesse's the reviews editor, so he'll check everyone's reviews. Abe is kind of like our senior editor, and he'll check everything as and when he can, as well as write some really, really fantastically researched opinion pieces. If you ever watched an Abe video, his stuff is really, really fun. Like the Netflix of games, Game Pass video is really worth a watch if you want to get into the data about what Microsoft are doing. But that would be generally my role, is to try and keep everyone on target and working towards the Ferrari goal that we all have secretly in our hearts.
Or the Lamborghini, your equal opportunities.
Yeah,
XboxEra, whichever.
Absolutely.
So obviously you mentioned earlier on that you've not been able to play as much Xbox as you would like because life exists and it's relentless and it's endless, but it's there. But what are some of your highlights this year for Xbox, of what you have played or what has been announced, or even if it's just like Geordie said last week that his highlight was, as well as Halo coming through, was just the E3 presentation because of how good that was. So what have some of your highlights been this year?
E3 presentations are all well and good, and I enjoy them. I think, though, it's always got to be about the games for me. And if I think back to what I've really enjoyed, I'm just going to try and rattle stuff off the top of my head. I would say Little Nightmares 2 was the first game. It's not strictly first party or anything like that, right? It's just a multi-plat game. But that was a game I played this year. I did the review on because I played the original and did the review for that back in the day. And wow, if you haven't played it, I'd wholeheartedly recommend it. There was a bit at the end where my jaw was on the floor, and I'm really sad that it's not been nominated in the sort of Game of the Year category, because I think it's up there in terms of art, design, and story told with no dialogue whatsoever. It was brilliant. So that was definitely a highlight. Lots of the behind the scenes stuff I got to do on Halo Infinite. It's been a really fun year that I can't talk about.
To be fair, when we're talking about Xbox highlights and someone just says, just all that work I did with 343, I think they take the medal there.
Yeah, it's been a privilege to work with those guys, and we'll get into Halo in a bit, and I'll say some more there.
And I'll upset anyone from 343 listening.
Well, no, we don't always agree, and I think that's why they have these teams, is to get that breadth of voices from across that realm, in whatever realm that they're hiring. There was more than just the Forge Council. There was multiplayer teams, there was campaign teams, all giving that, hey, I like this doesn't work, I've been playing it for 20 years, listen to me please. And they work through those kind of feedback points. But other highlights, Artful Escape was fantastic.
Yes.
One of the best games of the year.
It's my game of the year, like hands down. It touched me in a way that I haven't been touched since my uncle.
That was hilarious.
I was waiting for the joke.
Yeah.
You landed
You could see that coming a fucking mile off. No, but that game, it spoke to me in a way that I haven't felt from a game in a very long time. It was a really, really powerful story. And also, it was just fun. It's just unadulterated fun.
Do you know what? That is why video games are cool, right? I can read a book and I can watch a movie and I can talk about either of those things. But games, due to their interactive nature, they suck you in a way that neither of those mediums do.
Yeah.
And Artful Escape was a journey of self-discovery and realizing, who you are or who you want to be, and just going for it. And I thought it was absolutely beautifully told. And I just got my 86-inch sort of LG fancy TV for my living room, and that was the first game I played on it. And I did it in 5 hours in one sitting, and it was incredible. So yeah, that was definitely a highlight. And then Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, doing the previews for that. It's definitely going to be up there. Hot Wheels as well. Big shout out to them. It was lots of fun. And I'm playing a game at the moment that I can't talk about, but I'll be able to talk about in a week or so.
Well, this episode comes out on Monday the 29th. So
still can't talk about it.
That's fine. That's not a problem at all.
Later that next week. But you'll see it. It's an interesting one. I really love the gameplay, but I'm also rolling my eyes hard at the story, and it's irritating me to no end because I love such a big aspect of it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to write about, but we'll get to that in a couple of weeks' time. So yeah, it's been a great year. I've loved it. I've loved a lot of what they've done. I've wished for more acquisition season news just to watch the salt fallout from across the world.
Well, good news, everybody. Crap Gamer likes Xbox again. Yay!
Oh, that's not the acquisition anyone was hoping for.
Xbox is doomed.
It's honestly, I think whatever side he picks, the other platform starts to fail. So there's a lot of worries.
My favourite thing, my highlight of this year, has been me turning him down from coming on this show.
Wow.
That is my highlight. And then him bitching and moaning in our DMs and me blocking that idiot. That's been my highlight of the year.
Wasn't it he wanted to come on the show because we crowned him our champion Twidiot?
Yeah, we basically said that he was the dumbest person on Twitter and that we were retiring our Twidiots segment because no one was dumber than he was. Wow. So he got his pants in a big twist, and then he was like, well, I'll come on your show and I'll defend myself and I'll share my opinions. And I just said, no, you're an idiot, go away. So that's my highlight.
It's a fair
it's not. My highlight is actually a Kickstarter that I backed.
Oh, good segue. I can appreciate the segue skills there.
Straight in
that is smooth. That is above average for Harry's segue skills.
Wow, I'm pleased to have been experiencing it firsthand.
One of my segues once was we were talking about fisting, and then we talked about our favourite dads in video games. So
that's ruined it.
Yeah. So anyway, Kickstarter.
If I had a PR handler, they'd be tapping me on the shoulder right now.
That dad segment was the same one where you said you were going to come in a kid's face, wasn't it, Harry?
Cheers, Sean. Thanks for that, mate. Should we move on? Sean, ask John about the Kickstarter, mate.
Okay.
Do we need to take a minute to just...
No, fine. I guess the first question would be, don't set me off. First question would be, how did the idea come about for the 20th anniversary book?
So let me think about this. So I think what happened was we had Abe, aka One Bad Mother. He was like, I've had this idea. This was back, I want to say this time last year almost. And he was like, what about this idea? And Pre-Drag has worked in publishing before, so he's made a few books, and he pitched across some ideas about what it could look like, and he just showed us some concepts, and we were like, ooh. And Abe pulled all of the data, he trawled the internet for all of the games ever released on Xbox, and when we were talking about it, I was like, oh, hey guys, it's 20 years, let's do every console and every game, Captain Moron over here with the big ideas, yeah. And thankfully, those two had a bit more brains and brought me hurtling back down to earth. And was like, yeah, there's like 800 games on the original Xbox. I was like, oh, okay, let's just do that. So that's kind of how it came about. And then things were very quiet for a while because we were focusing on other priorities and obviously just day-to-day running of the site. And then I think probably May or April, Pre-Drag kind of pulled me to one side. I was like, hey, I've got an update on this. And he shared all of the game content of this book. So I think it's 794 games ever released, how they'd be laid out in a timeline. With double page spreads for the big ones so that we could write some op-eds about the impact of these particular titles and so on and so forth. And it suddenly became very real. And obviously then the passion behind it really came to the forefront. So we started working on it in a bit more of a determined fashion. And we got to a point where we had enough material and we had enough buy-in from other community people. So, you know, we've got contributors for this, you know, from Tom Warren from The Verge, Miles Dompier, Colt Eastwood, Randall Thor, all of those kind of guys, Jeff Grubb, etc. And we kind of reached out to them and said, like, hey, we're thinking about doing this thing. If you can keep it secret, would you be interested in either writing about your memories, talking about the platform, the impact it had on why you do what you do, and so on and so forth. And they were all incredible. And we're like, yep, this sounds great. We showed them a lot of the concepts. They were blown away by them because Pre-Drag is frankly shit hot at what he does. And then I managed to reach out to Seamus Blackley, who is one of the original designers of the Xbox from Microsoft. And he was like, yep, I'm in. So we got this huge group of people, and it was like, right, now comes the serious stuff. Let's go to a publisher and actually figure out what's this going to cost. And the prototype that you've seen in all the videos and all the Kickstarter material, that single prototype, which isn't content complete.
Wait, can we guess? Can we all guess?
Yeah, go on, you can guess how much the prototype cost. Now, here's some caveats. The final book will be approximately 360 pages long. That's the target.
Okay.
This is about 250 something, and is not content complete. So, you know, where the interviews will be, it just says lorem ipsor, da-da-da-da-da. But
so you got the same people that did the Grove Street Games website to write them down.
Yeah. They wrote for us. So yeah, it's full of that. But all the materials and all the color choices, they're all more or less final.
Okay.
So it's the premium, what the premium version will look like, minus 100 odd pages of actual paper in there. But it gives you a genuine idea.
I'm going to guess, and this is going to be really out there. I'm going to guess £1.50 per page, so about £400.
Okay. Any other takers? I'll give the award to the closest guesser.
Sean, can you, when you're editing this, can you do a Price is Right? Can you Price is Right this? Yeah.
I was going to say, what did you say, Harry?
£400, Brucey.
399.
You fucker. 401.
Our survey says, who said 401? Was that you, Harry?
How much was?
Actually, are you taking
Duncan,
his first answer?
Duncan, have you guessed?
I'm gonna go big time, £600.
Oh.
Don't know.
Well, Dunks, you just nailed it. 650 quid.
Jesus.
To produce.
Hell.
Right. So, and this is where we are indebted and grateful to the XboxEra community. So this whole Kickstarter, all of this wouldn't exist without the Patreons and everybody else in the background who support our servers and help us invest into the community, which is what we're doing. So all the forums that came to life, all of the extra equipment, everything we've done is funded by our community, and we're like incredibly grateful for them. So we used some of our XboxEra Patreon funds. We were like, right, well, we want to give something back. Let's try and do this. Let's actually be crazy and try and do this Kickstarter. So we had the prototype made. It's sitting on my desk. It's a shame this isn't a video podcast, but I'll send you a picture of it so you can exclusive image.
Lovely selfie. Me
caressing it. And we felt that was important because, there's a lot of there's some mockery out there when it comes to community-led sites. They're often branded as fanboys and all of this jazz, which I don't think we lean anywhere near towards. But what we wanted to do for this, because it was such an investment for people that would back it, right? It's not an insignificant amount of money. I think the standard version is about 50, 60 quid, and the premium version is like minimum 100. And that's because of all the materials we chose. But we wanted to show people, we're not just saying we can do this. We're going to show you that we did do this. We invested our own cash into it to make sure that we could pull this off before we even got onto the playing field. So that's why we went and did it. And it was also to make sure that we understood the full depth of what the hell we were getting ourselves into. Because aside from Pre-Drag, who lives like in Kuwait, no one on our team has made a book before. So it's a big risk for us, and it's a big leap of faith for our community. But with his experience and everything that we've been through over the last couple of years, we couldn't just go the Amazon self-publishing route for this. It was go big or go home, right? And we went big. And we hope we're going to do it when we're sitting at over 50% funded. We're just over a day into the Kickstarter. fingers crossed. We really do need the community to come through to us. If they love Xbox, like, we promise this book is going to be worth the wait. It'll have every game in there. It'll have big features on the big ones that you know and love. It'll have community contributions from loads of people within the Xbox community, including some of the people that used to make it. We think it's going to be pretty special. So it's an exciting time, mildly terrifying. I have to admit, when I announced the Kickstarter and we did our premiere, I don't know if you watched it.
Yes. Yeah, I did.
I actually cried like a little girl as that came through, because there was all this pressure and build up to get it to that point, like the running around with the publishers and getting it back and getting it filmed and writing everything and preparing everything and just hoping that it didn't just hit like a sack of shit and collapse on itself and no one was interested. There was this terrifying fear. And when that premiere launched and I watched all the positive reaction in the community and on the comments, I lost it. I lost my composure for a moment, because I think I'd invested perhaps a little too much of myself into what we'd made, which often happens, right? You talk about that mental health aspect. You invest yourself when you make something that's part of you to a degree. So it was very rewarding to see the community react so positively. And fingers crossed, 28 days to go.
Everyone who is
20.
listening to this podcast right now, go and find the XboxEra 20th anniversary celebration Kickstarter and pledge to it, because just more than anything, it looks incredible. And also, I've got no doubt that you're going to meet that goal.
I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful we can.
I genuinely think you will.
It was in the after the premiere on YouTube. I think it was in the Gamers Watch group on Twitter. I said that I can't believe that Microsoft themselves didn't think of this sort of idea for Xbox 20, and two, the quality of it looks like something that Microsoft themselves would have produced for their own Xbox 20. It looks stunning.
Well, we've had a lot of there's usually always the Twitter tryhards and the Reddit warriors that are like, copyright, and they start getting off on their armchairs criticizing. And it's funny, we met with Microsoft. We're not stupid. Hey, we're going to do this thing. Are you okay with it? And we did the whole presentation. You can picture me, Abe, and Freedrag doing a PowerPoint presentation to an Xbox PR. We literally did that because we were like, here's what we want to do. Can you give us access? Can you let us in and give us, press resources and things like that? Because all of the material in there is some of the screenshots that would have originally been sent out in press kits. And guys, we're talking 2001. High resolution was not the thing. Some of the material is really hard to find. So, and they were really, really cool. And they said, that we'll help where we can. But they did give us the heads up. They were like, hey, we've kind of got some stuff going on. And indeed, we saw that announced last week with the big 20th anniversary celebration and their whole documentary. I mean, that is cool. And that's more modern, right? This is more of a collectible for a fan. This isn't going to go crazy in-depth interviews with every engineer that ever touched a thing. It's more about the celebration of the games that brought 20 years of this community out now in 2021. Here we all are, thanks to this machine, and kind of paying homage to it a little bit. But I appreciate the confidence that the community's shown. I appreciate the words that you guys have just said, because it's hard sometimes. You put yourself out there, you do this kind of stuff. If it flops, I can't think of anything worse in terms of how it would feel. And Pre-Drag and I, we probably invested the most time in terms of getting it to this point, just at the last couple of weeks, and it was extremely nerve-wracking. We were just sitting on Discord, and again, Pre-Drag and I have never met in real life. We're working on this remotely, trying to put it together. It was fun. Would I do it again? I don't know. Let's see when the 360 turns 20. There's a lot more games. Maybe a 3-part book series. I don't know.
And you'll hand deliver each one like Santa Claus in a green outfit.
I'll have a white beard by that point, I think.
Yeah, you'll hand deliver it in your Ferrari.
Yes. Well, one can hope. One can dream.
So thank you so much. That's genuinely, I've just messaged the guys as we were just talking on Facebook saying this is my favorite segment of the podcast ever. I absolutely loved everything that you've just spoken about. We're now going to speak about something that I don't love.
Let me strap in.
Okay, so I've named this segment Halo. Is it MTX you're looking for?
Smart.
Cracking singing voice.
I know, mate. I'll auto-tune that like Gaz.
Do I need more alcohol to get through this?
No. So yes. I'm very quickly going to state my case
about
Halo. So Halo Infinite Multiplayer The gameplay is brilliant, okay? There is no part of me that does not think the gameplay is brilliant, and I cannot wait for the campaign, not just because of the preview that you put out that we'll talk about shortly, but because it plays like the best Halo ever. However, my issue with Halo Infinite multiplayer is that I categorically do not agree with the free-to-play gaming model. I feel that they're predatory, I feel that they enable gamblers, and I feel that the tactics that they employ are geared towards slowing progression down to push players into making purchases. And my frustration isn't that Halo Infinite multiplayer isn't good. My frustration is with the AAA games industry as a whole, and how over the last 5 or 6 years, the games industry has changed from being gamer-focused to consumer-focused. And that word is seen all the time, is that we're consumers. And Microsoft have been leading the charge in accessibility in gaming with Game Pass, with affordability. And my frustration is that Halo is, in my mind, it is the biggest Xbox IP. There is nothing bigger for Xbox than Halo. It is the games series for the console. It's been there since day one. And to see it turned into a free-to-play store that's in beta, but with a fully functioning cosmetic store and fully functioning paid XP boosts and fully functioning cosmetics that are paid for, and paywalling something that has been a staple of Halo multiplayer for 14 years behind paywalls, I categorically do not agree with. The argument that Halo isn't the worst at it doesn't fly for me, because if we go back 2 or 3 years, I don't think anybody was looking for Halo to go free to play. However, it plays really well. But I've already uninstalled it. I have absolutely no interest in going back to it, because all of my weekly challenges are frustrating. The progression is nowhere. And as someone who grew up watching Red versus Blue, all I can think of is, where would Rooster Teeth be right now if in order to produce their show in the early days, they had to purchase all the different color options? That's my issue. I'm going to sit back. I've had my little diatribe. Halo plays very well. I don't like AAA games. That's where I'm going to leave it. I don't like the games industry. I think that's what has become apparent. I don't like it.
I completely agree with Harry, and it's actually I felt quite bad for you, mate. Like just seeing the dickheads have a go at you on Twitter, because everything you're saying is completely correct. Like the thing that upsets me the most is that when everyone's like, it's just free to play game. What do you expect? It's like, yeah, but it's fucking Halo, man.
Yeah, I didn't expect Halo to be free to play. That's my argument.
Like I get it. Like with Splitgate, for example, a really, really super cool indie game. So you kind of free to play. So you kind of expect a paid battle pass and skins, but not with fucking Halo. And maybe it's just my age or whatever. And one of the reasons, John, why I've backed the book almost immediately is because Halo was the thing that got me into Xbox.
Same here.
And I've been Xbox ever since. It's been like the only constant in my life. But and then just to see Halo just reduced to that, it's really sad, like quite sad more than anything. I mean, I can't complain about the gameplay because it's so good and
really good.
It makes me very, very excited now because I've been on the fence a little bit about Halo, been quite open about that, but knowing how good it plays, cannot wait for the campaign, which is probably what I'm more interested in anyway.
Oh, I am so hyped now for the campaign. Yeah. Like all it's done is make me believe that 343 have got it right with the campaign. Yeah. But I cannot wait.
It's been quite funny today, like because obviously, like all three of us have been pretty open on Twitter about the monetization sucks, and then all of a sudden today with this free battle pass that's come out, and everyone's like, "Nah, it's a waste of my time. This is shit. I'm going to give up on it." It's like, well, I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but fucking told you so. And like, I mean, we said this a couple of weeks ago.
Frustrations is that there's no incentive to win a game. So I can't count the amount of times I would be in an online lobby and people would just be stood waiting for a weapon to spawn, not doing the challenge, not capturing the flag, not holding the oddball, waiting for a weapon to spawn so they could hit their daily challenge, and then they hit it and then they quit the game immediately because they hit the challenge, see you later, I don't need to do that anymore.
And then it's the excuse where it's like, oh, it's only beta. Well, it's not. It's not a beta. Like if you believe that, get your fucking head checked. It's the flight was the beta. Like you don't launch a beta test with a fully working store with fully working esports on it. Like you're absolutely telling me that they haven't, when they're doing their forecast for how much this store's going to bring in, they know exactly what they were doing, like with the speed of progression, how much things cost, because people are going to buy it because the gameplay's so good. You're an absolute fucking mug if you think that 343 didn't know what they were doing, and it's driving me up the wall how people are like, yeah, but it's just a beta. Oh, we can trust them. No, you can't. Sorry, John. I know you work with them, but like they're just another corporate company. You're honestly telling me that 343 with the back end of Microsoft need your £20 skin to support the game? Fuck off.
Didn't Microsoft just get announced as the richest company in the world?
Bullshit.
So that's my frustration. But that aside, I cannot wait for the campaign. I am properly amped for the campaign. Genuinely.
Well,
very excited.
I mean,
So
look,
that's our
I
thoughts.
don't. Yeah, well, let me take a moment. Yeah, we had some similar discussion on our podcast earlier this weekend. Nick, very similar thoughts. How there's lots of things that niggle for me. The Battle Pass is definitely one of them. We're talking about people that have loved and breathed this franchise for 20 years, and suddenly, oh, you're not leading the charge. You're doing an Apex, or you're doing a
yes, that's
a Warzone.
exactly it.
And Halo, since 2001, has led the way. Halo 2 popularized matchmaking, never existed until that time. Halo 3 brought in Forge and co-op campaigns and all of these different things, and each one always brought their new evolution to the sort of video game world, and it does feel a little bit like Halo Infinite's multiplayer apes on others. And there's a couple of frustrations that I share with you guys. The progression is woeful. They put a band-aid on it, but regardless, I go in and the only armor, if I wasn't to get the battle pass initially, that I can even play around with is one set with 5 colors, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, like, I've been playing Halo for a long time. There's always like 3 or 4 choices, at least just to start. Now, do I hope that changes on December 8th when the actual sort of full product launches, according to their label? Yeah, I don't know, but I hope. I do know that the campaign contains armor unlocks. However, I did see this thing on Twitter, and then people were saying they were wrong. I haven't researched into it. I was too busy today. I can't confirm.
From what I can see, that's already been debunked. And I actually made a tweet and then took it down because I had someone who spoke to me about it to say, look, this isn't legit. And I took the post down. But I think the telling thing is that no one knows if that's true or not. That's what's telling for me, is we don't know if that's just a piss take or, oh, that's just what it's going to be.
Yeah. There's good things they've done. Like, I like the fact that the Battle Pass, if you don't finish one, you can choose in the future which one you want to progress, right? I feel they are a bit stingy, and that makes me sad. And I agree. There's a lot of monetization practices going on. Do I prefer it to a world where I can't play with you because I haven't bought the map pack or I haven't got the disc? I don't know. Microsoft could have probably afforded to just roll those out anyway. But either way, live service games, they have to pay someone's bill, right?
Yeah.
So I'm realistic about it, but yes, I'm still fervently hoping for improvements. I don't know why they didn't look at what Sea of Thieves does with their Battle Pass and come up with something a little more similar to that. Because I think Sea of Thieves team has done it quite well, and there's a lot of learning there. But they're on their own journey. What I can say is, having worked with the guys at 343, every single one of them that I've met across the teams absolutely loves and breathes Halo just as much as we do. That's why they're there. So whatever corporate machinations are in the background, forcing monetization in some way, shape, or form, because that's the reality of making AAA games, I can't say. But I do know that I don't wish any ill will, and I'm sure that the teams at 343 will do their best to listen. And that's the hope, right? That's why a lot of these communities community councils exists is because they listen. My biggest concern really is that a lot of this was called out several months ago, and I'd argue perhaps could have been action. But I think we're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out. I'm very curious how long that will stay uninstalled for, because the gameplay really is so good.
It will stay uninstalled until December 8th. I've already reinstalled it once.
He said that Thursday, and then it was installed Saturday. So
I reinstalled it, got back on it. My weekly challenges were all vehicle based. I jumped into games where everybody else was just running around doing their own daily challenges. I uninstalled it. I started playing Forza Horizon 5 again. So yeah, it's just not for me.
I hate weapon challenges. Do you remember the days of Halo 3 with the kill 2 people with 1 Spartan laser challenge?
Yeah.
Man, I remember, and hey, it's too late. I've gone past the 7-year limit where I can get arrested for this stuff by Microsoft. But I remember
statute of limitations.
We all changed our region to, oh man, what was it? It was somewhere that there wasn't a huge Xbox Live population. I can't remember the country. It was somewhere in Asia.
North Korea.
Something like that, like real somewhere out there.
Kim Jong-il has joined the party.
We literally match made with that as our region, managed all 8 of us getting a game together, and then we just got those final achievements, because trying to get them in a real world environment, and that's my biggest concern, is when you put in stuff, and you mentioned it earlier when you saw people waiting for the gun, getting their challenge and then pissing off. When you put in challenges that promote non-standard gameplay, then you risk hurting the actual game and the people trying to actually play the objective or play Slayer or whatever, and that isn't cool. I really hope they rethink those. Like, I'm fine with keeping standard ones like kill 5 kills with a BR. That's going to happen. No one's
100%.
grind that. But you pick a power weapon and say kill 3 people from behind whilst throwing salt over your shoulder and dancing, the river dance or something like that. Then that's going to be a little trickier to pull off. So there's a lot of balancing acts that I think they have to do. But yes, to your point, campaign, and I can talk somewhat about it. I think there's good reason to have hope that the spark that I feel was probably missing a little bit from Halo 5 and a little bit from Halo 4 is back, and that is warm blanket and comfort to any Halo fan out there, I think.
So, Shaun, you have been playing the Halo multiplayer. Obviously, you haven't been quite as vocal as me. I don't think anyone has been as vocal as me.
It was more I said my things and then sort of carried on with my life, whereas you were
I made it my mission.
Yeah, you were hung up on it.
Taking a stand, man.
Yeah, man. You just don't understand me, man. But Shaun, how have you found it?
Well, gameplay wise, I can't fault it at all. Like, there'll be a few sort of balancing bits I need to do here and there. Like, personally, I can't stand is it Ravager? I think it's called, and I always get challenges for that, so I hate it with a passion. But that's probably just a me thing. It's weird because I never. It takes a lot to get me hyped for an online game, because I am very much a Billy No Mates sit in the middle of the night on my own playing a game single player. But Halo Infinite got me so hyped with all the Battle Pass news before it came out. And like I said, like I always say with the article I wrote about how it would respect your time as a gamer, because it felt like the sort of thing where I'd be able to play it for a little while, not complete the Battle Pass, but be like, oh, I want to play this game because this has just come out, and then just jump back in Halo like a month down the line and just carry on from where I was. And it felt like I would be able to basically keep Halo in my like game rotation for years to come. Because normally online games, I'll fall behind for a week and then be like, well, there's no point carrying on now. And it does that, but it does it so poorly with everything else put together with it. So like, I went on it, I was like, oh, okay, get the Battle Pass. Oh, 60% of it is challenge swaps and XP boosts. And then, like I said, like everyone said, the progression's just at a snail's pace. I mean, they fixed it a bit by making the challenges easier, but then still, once you've done your challenges for the week, you're again at 50 XP per match for the rest of the week. And like the events where they've said, oh, it's going to be 6 times this event's going to run for, so you don't have to worry about like FOMO and not being on for 1 week. Except for you've got to do basically 4 full weeks of the event and then 1 half week of the event to get all the tiers, because there's only 7 challenges per event run and there's 30 tiers, I think it was. Eek. So it feels like they've sort of fumbled every aspect of the thing that I was like, this could change online games for the future with the battle pass that doesn't expire and you can buy old ones and swap and change them and that. So it feels like it might be. I'm playing it a lot at the moment because it's new and flashy, and I'm just enjoying playing the game for the game. But I don't know if I will return to it once I take like a lengthy break, like I thought I would when it was originally all laid out, the battle pass plan, and that remains to be seen now.
However, the gameplay is great.
The
And I want to
gameplay
caveat this.
It's solid.
I fucking love Halo. I love it. And this is the most Halo that Halo has been in a long time. I know that's such a stupid fanboy thing to say. It's such a redundant comment.
It's not. In the words of the beautiful, hairy Jeff Grubb, it's a Halo-ass Halo game.
Yeah, it is.
Halo fans are going to be in their element on December 8th, I think.
Now, I know that we can't talk too much about it, but you have put the campaign preview out. So
I can talk about all of that.
So the campaign preview itself is for, well, you say it in inverted commas, don't you? Levels.
Yeah.
But how do you really ascertain what is a level in the way that they've laid the game out?
So let's just think about the best way to word this. So if you think of your traditional Halo campaign, right, and you pick one, they all have their own charms, but there's usually a start, a bombastic start, the credits, the Halo, and then you'll get into another level and then another level and another level. The way Halo Infinite works is you have your big bombastic opening level, and for anyone listening, I'm not going to spoil any plot, all right? So you can listen in safety and comfort. But you have your big opening level that kind of sets the scene. Then you'll have this kind of next bit where you go and start digging into the mystery of how you're there. And those first two are very much like, oh, okay, this feels like a normal Halo game. Like I go from location A to location B. There's cutscenes, booking, ending, all of this. Great. Then you get to the third section, and then there's this wonderful moment. And it's funny that the embargo for this preview was a little bit complex, and I'd finished my preview video, and yep, great, happy with it. Went to bed, and at like 12:30, I'm sitting there rereading the guidelines about what you can show. And there was a section that says, do not show any cutscene material from level 3 or 4. And I suddenly realized that this bit that I'd shown was a 2-second clip from one of the cutscenes in level 3. Like it's literally a fraction of a cutscene. And I actually went downstairs at like 1 a.m. and re-rendered the entire video, just cutting that tiny bit out, just because I did not want to be hit with, how you take that down? Because, no thank you. It didn't impact the video in any way, shape or form, but there was this wonderful moment where, the level suddenly opens up and you realize I'm on a Halo ring again. That kind of wonderful moment from Halo CE where you crash land in the pod and you look up and it's this beautiful waterfall and everything else. Very similar vibe, and they do it really, really well. And then from that point onwards, you're on the ring. And when you go to the next level, you'll go and assault the place on the ring, and then you go inside, and then that's your Halo level. So they kind of got this golden path through the game, and you can just hammer straight through it like a normal Halo campaign, ignore all of the other stuff, and have a standard Halo experience. But the charm and the beauty of it is where you've got that incredible Halo sandbox, and it is a very Halo-ass Halo game that is then blended into that dream that we all had when, 20 years ago, when you're on the ring and you're just exploring and you're finding these mysteries and these secrets and these patrols, and suddenly it opens up and you can kind of attack things in different ways. You can go and get vehicles, you can go and get weapons, and it just breathes this whole sort of fresh approach to what Halo is and that combat loop. But the combat loop itself, that 30 seconds of fun, that golden triangle of melee, grenades and guns is still there in 100% of its glory, except it's got this icing on the cake with the grapple hook that just makes getting around and doing cool stuff absolute breeze. And it's really, really good so far. I can't comment too much, and I have played on. I can't comment too much on everything else. I haven't actually finished the campaign.
You tease.
But I think, and I'm looking for. I'm not doing the review because I figured it would be a conflict of interest.
Yeah, of course.
Right, because I've been working through 343, so I'm very, very keen to see what Jesse's thoughts are when he gets to try it out and get it ready for review prime time. I'm sure there'll be lots of fervent discussion. What should this fanboy run Xbox site give Halo Infinite out of 10? Because there's a healthy debate to be had there. But I think for Halo fans, And certainly for me, who really enjoyed Halo 5 and thought some of the level design in the campaign was great, but the story was a bit of a mess. It made me feel very hopeful that, and certainly from the way it feels so good. As good as that multiplayer feels, the campaign feels right up there in terms of gameplay. So I'm very excited. Very excited.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sold. I was sold after I watched your campaign preview. I'm sold even more now.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that, as much as I may go on and on and on about the multiplayer, that has cemented the fact that amazing gameplay loop that they've got in the multiplayer, that if they bring that forward to the campaign, that it will be nothing but good times.
I think that's something that a lot of people I don't think are understand, like ones that are critical of the people that are being critical about multiplayer, is they're like, oh, you just don't like Halo.
I love
it's
Halo.
Like, well, no, you can like it because you said the gameplay is near flawless, so you're still going to be excited for the campaign because that is basically the gameplay of multiplayer put into a single player story. So it's I think people are getting a bit hot-headed at the moment with some of the Halo stuff.
People on Twitter getting hot-headed? Never.
Shock horror.
You lie, Shaun. Everyone is just lovely and kind.
That's not true. I tell you, one small anecdote. Right, I played probably about, I can't even say how long, right, because that would give you an indication as to length. I played a significant period of time playing through the campaign, and then I jumped on for some multiplayer, and I found myself trying to grapple, even though I didn't have the grapple hook, because in the campaign, it's a constant thing in your kind of tool set. And I suddenly was like, oh, I really miss it. I really miss having this all the time because it's so much fun. And it took me a couple of moments to realize that pressing my grapple hook button wasn't actually going to do anything for me.
I'm really excited.
Just throw a shield out.
Yeah, I'm really excited for when Forge comes out and there is going to be assault courses with the grapple hook. I am so excited for that.
That's something I definitely can't talk too much about.
No, I wouldn't expect you to.
Zero words from me on Forge. Aside from that, I've seen some cool shit.
Guys, I tried.
That's as much as
I tried, guys. Now, Duncan, you have obviously been playing Halo as well, but you've also been playing another game, haven't you?
You're banging these segues tonight, mate. Lovely
I know,
job.
mate.
I bet it needs a little clap for them.
I'm inspired.
I'm here for it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. My head is already big enough, guys. I won't be able to fit through the door later on. Now, Duncan, shall I do the voice?
Yes. Why are you asking, man?
Well, it's just
do the voice.
It's funny, isn't
the
it?
voice.
It's our little bit, our little tete-a-tete.
Okay,
here we go.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I pictured Duncan like squirming in his seat in excitement when getting ready for the voice.
So this week, Duncan Voice has been playing a fantastic little game from Wired Dreams Studio called Red Ronin. So on this week's Duncan Voice's Indie Choices, what did you think?
Yeah, thanks, Harry, you great mate. Hey guys, I didn't prepare a decent segue for this because I was going to do a Japanese voice, but I thought I better not. So I'll just hop right on in. Yeah,
please don't. Please
okay,
don't.
you great mates. So I've been playing Red Ronin. Which is what did I call it?
Great start.
Game.
It's a game.
I've already spoken this episode. It's a game.
Sold.
Yeah, do it. Buy it. It's £6.69. Nice. So it's a one-man dev game, and I bloody love a one-man dev indie game. Full disclosure, they gave us the code for it, but that hasn't impacted on my review. It's a really, really super cool cross between like chess and Hotline Miami / Bloodroots. If that makes any sense at all. So every level is like a top-down like grid, and you have to direct your character in a straight line through enemies. But it's turn-based as well, so you might have like 5 enemies in a room, so you have to almost kind of like play chess and work out your route to kind of take everyone down. It's more of like a puzzle game than an action game like Hotline Miami, but it's that thing where if you die, and like I said with Bloodroots quite a few episodes ago, where you end up just working out your perfect route like through a level to take everyone out. But every time you move forwards, enemies will move one square as well. So you might have a perfect route set up, and you'll end up in front of an enemy, and then they'll cut you, and then you need to start again. But it's that really, really kind of satisfying thing where if you die, you start again straight away. Because I hate games where it's like an instant start, but it's like a 2-second delay, like a really weird kind of petty little niggle. But it's really satisfying. So every time you slash through an enemy, like you do like a nice little slide. It's only like really cool, kind of like pixel graphics. But as you go through, you get abilities, so you can freeze enemies in place for a turn, or you can change direction. So you might do it so you've got your route set up. You'll stop in front of someone, but if you add like a directional arrow, you'll cut someone, then you'll go back. So then you get another go. There's not loads to say about it. It can be kind of a little bit samey, but it's absolutely bastard hard. So I looked at the achievements, and I don't think anyone has completed it yet.
Really?
It's really
Wow.
fucking hard. Like so I did the first 8 stages, I think it was, and the difficulty my smooth brain just couldn't handle it. But it's really cool.
Smooth brain.
Yeah, it's but it's like I said, it's only £6.69. But it feels like, and I hate saying this every time because I really like buying indie games, but it feels like a perfect Game Pass game. Like it's exactly the kind of thing you'd play if you're waiting for something on your phone, and play it on the cloud because it's not super taxing. You can do it with touch controls, so do it. But yeah, highly recommend a Red Ronin on Xbox Game Store. So for my score, Shaun, for when you do the thing,
Say what the thing is, Duncan. Say what the thing is.
The Dick Bottometer.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah,
Review
that yodels.
score. Yeah, that yodels. I'd reach in, Shaun, and pull out a gem, a hidden gem. Fucking shit.
Gonna get the proper little light noise going as well.
Yeah, whatever.
I just watched some gameplay of it whilst you were chit-chatting to get an idea, to help, provide pictures to your dulcet words. And it does look interesting. I'll give it a look.
It's really cool. It's got like a really nice little kind of cyberpunkish soundtrack. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Put it on the box.
Slap it on.
Hang on, Duncan. Can we just isolate you saying it's cool, and I'll do the big echoey voice that we did last time, and Shaun, you edit it onto the front cover. All right. So Duncan, your review for Red Ronin.
It's cool.
There we go. Spot on. That's what I needed, mate.
Pulled a face and everything with that.
I'll isolate that, and we'll get that sorted out. Congratulations on the fantastic review there, Duncan.
I could have done better, but whatever.
Enjoyed
it's late.
that.
It's 10 o'clock.
Would that be in your Game of the Year contention for indie games at all?
Oh, Harry, these segues, mate. You are absolutely on fire tonight, aren't you?
Would it be in your Game of the Year contention, do you think? For
Probably
indie games?
not. I don't think so. There are some indie games this year that have been spectacular. But this is very good, but probably not quite there for me.
So
I'm afraid.
If it's a game that's not quite a Game of the Year, it's on the similar sort of level as Forza Horizon 5 then, yeah? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, boy.
We're going to talk about this very quickly, okay?
The anger level rises.
We're going to talk about it very quickly. We will only cover this for 5 minutes, tops. Does everyone here think Forza Horizon 5 should have been nominated for Game of the Year?
Yes.
John?
Of course.
Yeah.
Duncan?
100%.
Of course it should have done.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It is just a racing game, though.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, it's just a racing game. And it's a downgrade, isn't it? That's what everyone said. It's a downgrade.
Shaking with rage right now.
So I just want to get a couple of things straight with Forza Horizon 5, right? So highest rated first party game of the year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
10 million players within the first week, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Graphically changing the game for open world games, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. Ray traced audio has completely changed the game from a sound design perspective, correct?
It is very nice.
It's an incredibly fun game with a rewarding and satisfying loop, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what more does it need to do?
Correct.
What more does it need to do?
Not be racing and not be on Xbox.
Yeah, I feel like if there was a dad and maybe one of the cars was his son and he had to go on a journey of self-discovery, to realise his dream of like doing a race somewhere really cool. And, along the way...
I just got where you're going with that. That took me so long to get.
Along the way, they'll come across various hurdles and challenges in their path. Giant cars that want to stop them.
Climb up a giant car.
Look, I mean, getting real for a moment. I think it sucks that it's not in contention because clearly it's been nominated in lots of other categories. So it was on the ballot. So the only people that we should direct, I don't want to say blame, we should direct our questions towards is really the jury, because and this is what really gets me, right? I get Game of the Year should be a celebration of the best games of the year. And if Forza Horizon 5 somehow, despite the fact it's scored highly across the board critically, isn't in the same critics' lists as the game of the year, I question what scored higher. And then it comes down to personal preference, right? Because I don't know how a lot of these places operate, but if there's consensus and editorial direction where we say, yeah, does this game deserve a 10? Yeah, it does. Okay, we'll let you score it a 10, but I'm on the jury for Game of the Year and it's not my 10. My 10 is Deathloop, as an example. Then that's how that works, and that's just the way it is. I think the real big issue here is that Game of the Year should be in January or February and not in freaking December.
Yes,
that's a whole different conversation.
I'm sure I read somewhere. I'm sure I read that like the votes were in on like by November the 5th. Obviously,
Yeah,
Forza was out within the time frame, but it came out too late for voting.
No.
Yeah,
because then why was it nominated in other categories?
No, it was Forza came out in time for the like cutoff for games allowed, but votes from the jury had to be in before Forza was released. But they were also allowed to change their votes up until a few days after Forza was released, but that wasn't apparently communicated very well to them. So obviously the game wasn't released when they had to submit their first lot of votes, but they could have changed it for a few days after Forza release, but didn't. So it's a bit of a mess all round.
But why not just do the Game of the Year awards for every game that released that year? I don't get it. So is Forza Horizon 5 eligible for next year's Game of the Year award? I'm so confused.
No.
I won't be. No.
It is in this year's, but it didn't make the cut for that one category of Game of the Year.
Right.
And if I'm being honest, as much as I think Forza Horizon 5 is one of the best games of the year, it's not my personal game of the year, and I have to say that very candidly, as if someone handed me a voting slip, I would have put It Takes Two on there. If I had to put like 3 games, I would have put It Takes Two, Little Nightmares 2, and maybe Forza Horizon 5, but it wouldn't be my personal absolute favourite. But I don't think that's the point. The point is if the entire critical consensus is that it is the highest rated game of the year on that platform, then it should be in the running, and it isn't, and that feels odd.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's not my game of the year, and it wouldn't be in my top 3 game of the years. Mine would be Death's Door, Artful Escape, and Psychonauts 2. Those are my 3.
See, I was going to say my 3 are It Takes Two, Psychonauts 2, and Forza Horizon, but I have no idea what order to put them in yet.
That's why it's fun for the community led stuff to do the Game of the Year stuff in sort of January, February, because
definitely
that's where you can take a full accounting. And hey, you guys might play through Halo Infinite in December and be like, oh, hello.
I mean, Duncan, what have your sort of Game of the Year choices been? Because obviously you are our indie specialist, so you play a lot of games that we don't play.
Don't you forget it. Because I do such a professional job.
So what games have gone the furthest up your yodeling dip? But this year,
up my arse. Well, I mean, my personal game of the year is Psychonauts 2. Just incredible. Indie, and I said this a couple of weeks ago. I almost don't want to pick one because indie games are so varied and they're such labours of love. I don't want to say, well, this one's better than this one because they're completely different.
So it's where the bees make honey then, yeah?
Thinking about the good life, maybe. So like I think we all agree Death's Door was absolutely like unbelievable, like how good that was. But then Artful Escape impacted me more. But would I say that's a better game than Death's Door? I don't know.
But then you've also got Golf Club Wasteland.
Exactly. I mean, bizarre to say, but that's like my narrative of the year. But it's just great, innit? Games are amazing, and it's almost a shame that we have to pick the best one, I suppose. But it probably has been my best ever year for gaming. It might be a lot to do with the podcast because I really enjoy just talking about games a lot more now. But I think I've had more fun playing games this year than I ever have done. I'm pretty confident with that.
That's a pretty cool thing to be able to say, right? And that's an example of this medium ever evolving. I think the real solution that they should employ for games of the year is to let the audience have their say to a degree, because fanboys are going to be fanboys, but developers should be voting. Developers are the ones that can assess whether a game is technically better than another game, or they did this and it was really unique. And there should be more self sort of running of this rather than it being a production-led, advertising-led event.
Yeah, definitely.
There isn't actually a recognition of skill or achievement. That would be my personal preference, but I don't know. I'm not the man to go and do that and fix that system. I think everybody that feels slighted that Forza Horizon 5 isn't on that list should just take stock in the fact that who gives a hell, who gives a shit.
It's still a great game.
Play the game, watch all the cool stuff, because Microsoft are probably going to come out swinging at the Game Awards anyway. I've heard things that I think are going to excite and delight, and enjoy it, and just watch the narrative slowly change. Because despite all the the doomsayers and the the naysaying from the general gaming populace, Microsoft are slowly but surely changing the game out there. They're changing the industry again. As much as people don't like to admit that they do that on the regular, online play, hard drives, the list is fairly endless, and Game Pass is the next differentiator. And as a consumer, I don't care about Microsoft's wallet or their bottom line. Give me all I can eat video games, please.
Yeah, 100%.
Just enjoy it. Enjoy the show.
Another thing as well people need to remember is, even though it's called the Game Awards, it's not the only Game Awards. So by the time that every company does their different versions of Game Awards and that, it will rack the awards in. But
100%. And what
it just won't get Game of the Year for this particular Game Awards.
What I would also remind people of is that the game that won the most Game of the Year awards last year was Cyberpunk. So just keep that in the back of your mind, people.
Did it?
Yeah.
I was going to say,
Cyberpunk won more Game Awards than any other game in the year that it released, because they gave it the awards prior to it being fully released. Yeah. Cyberpunk got so many Game of the Year awards. And me and Duncan have gone back to playing Cyberpunk, and I don't know if my Xbox is broken, if it is actually an issue with my Series X, but the game is still a fucking mess. NPCs disappearing, vehicles spawning out of nowhere, textures not loading up, missions not loading up, character models not loading up, and that game won more Game of the Year awards than anything else last year. So who cares? Enjoy games. Enjoy playing games.
It's weird that Cyberpunk runs badly on your Series X, but like a dream on Duncan's Series S.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's really bizarre because because it was £25 in a sale, and I've been on the fence about it for fucking ages. And everyone I spoke to was like, "Yeah, it's great, get it." And I've not had any problems. But yeah, it's weird. Maybe it's you, Harry. I don't know.
Maybe video games don't like
Maybe
me.
you just manifest these problems. You miserable cunt. I don't know.
Well, if we're going to be talking about miserable things, should we move on to Game in 60 Seconds? Because that's pretty fucking miserable.
4 out of 4, Harry. That is.
I'm with it today.
Game in 60 isn't miserable.
Game in 60 is one of the most misery-inducing segments, especially for Zoe and Paul, because they lost last week.
Yeah.
So, John, just to keep you in the loop, we have 2 listeners, Zoe and Paul from Thistledew Gaming.
And that's it.
And they're the only 2 listeners. That's it. We've got 2 listeners, the end. And they have actually started making content on the back of us releasing our podcast. And
Amazing.
What they do is they sort of goggle box themselves. They record themselves watching our podcast, and they try and guess the clues that we come up with. And it's been an ongoing battle between us for months now of them always guessing all the clues we come up with. And last week, Duncan beat them for the first time ever.
I defeated him. But then I drew him a little picture to say sorry because I felt bad. But
I'm now worried. I'm worried that my clue isn't good enough.
Don't worry, mate. We've had some terrible clues. So we're going to end the show on Game in 60 Seconds. And just know that your clue will be guessed by the guys at Thistle Do. And they are also big fans of XboxEra as well. So I'm sure they'll have a special go at this one.
It's a really great show, what they put on as well. Like, it's one of my favourite things.
You'll have to drop me a link. I'll go check it out.
It was high quality straight out the box, and it's really annoying because our show took like 4 months to get any good. That
fucking theme song that they've sung, it will not get out of my head. That Gamin 600. I'm humming it for days after every fucking episode.
So they call their show Game in 600 Seconds because it's 10 minutes of them guessing our clues.
Amazing.
So
amazing.
Sure.
If they're available to write a rumour mill jingle, I am on the lookout because we keep getting the rumour songs we pick copyright struck. So if anyone wants to write us a rumour mill jingle,
I will get onto them after the show and I will put them your way because honestly, their Game in 600 Seconds jingle is so funny. It's so good.
Sold.
So we'll go through last week's clues very quickly. Now, John, you will have to jump back into the Discord because Shaun puts his clues up on there because his ones are visual clues. Now, last week, Shaun, your clues vanished. Where's it gone?
I don't know. I can send it again.
Send it again. So
you can have a look.
So your clue...
I also had a audio one, remember?
Oh, you did?
Which was a bigger wank stain than that Dwayne Johnson film.
And what was that?
That was San Andreas.
Yes, it was. It was San Andreas. Now, Shaun, while you get last week's clue up that you had, Geordie last week had one as well. Oh, okay, there it is. So yeah, John, you can see the picture in there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll work through it ourselves. Shaun, explain to everybody what this is.
That is the Count from Sesame Street.
Count Von Count.
And he has dough balls and peanuts in front of him. So his game is Dough Nut County.
Yeah.
Brilliant. 3 donuts.
So that is the level that we're at. So Shaun's clue last week was Donut County.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Geordie's clue last week was Freddie Mercury in the Dark. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I can see on the screen.
Yeah. And that was Killer Queen Black.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
My clue last week was, for fuck's sake, Mum, will you close all those things down? And that is tabs, because she's always got loads of tabs open on her Internet Explorer. Duncan, what was your clue?
Mine was this Doctor of Astrology is back once again with the ill behaviour.
And what was that one?
That was Star Renegade.
Yes, it was. So
yeah, wow.
I feel like I can't compete here. I feel like my clue is like super lame. I was like, this is clever, but I think like this is the one you'll get in 30 seconds.
It's not a problem, mate, because I've had some stinkers before.
Harry likes to pick the game we've talked about that very episode, so it's very obvious.
I'm not doing it this time. All right, I thought about doing Halo Infinite, and I'm not. So, Duncan, I'm going to say my one first because I think we may have got the same.
I reckon we have.
You say your one first, and if we've got the same one, then I'll have to change mine.
Okay. All right, ready?
So you go.
Yep. This aging husk will be the death of me.
What? This aging husk will be the death of me?
Oh, this aging husk will be the death of me.
Okay, so I don't think that is my one.
Oh. No? Really?
Okay, so what is that? Oh my god.
Okay.
No, that's not what my one was.
Phew.
Because my one is, why is Joseph Fritzl cutting up onions?
He makes a comeback.
And that is... So stupid.
Great.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Sorry, John, about this.
It's all right. It's okay. I'm loving this segment.
Oh, brilliant.
So, John, do you want to go with your one?
Well, I was literally, I'm so, I like to perform. I like to keep up. and I'm worried that mine is too easy. So I thought of two, but I'll go with the first one. I'll go with my OG one.
Okay.
And we'll see how we land. Hashtag 0000000.
Hashtag 0000000. No, I don't think I'm going to get this
Is
one.
it something to do with?
Hey, it wasn't a 2-clue game. It was a 1-clue.
No, I'm not there. You'll have to give us this one, John.
Oh, you smart ass.
That's a really good one. Oh, that is genuinely one of the...
I reckon that's a potential beater. That is.
I think that might beat them, you know.
The other one I had was Invisible Touch. Invisible Touch. But I don't know if you guys would get that one. That's one that's even weirder. I thought that was too risque. But then I realised where I was.
Just done a Joseph Fritzl one.
Yeah, Joseph Fritzl's made a third appearance on our podcast, so...
He's not a monster. So.
Shaun, can you... Hang on, look, let's just go over a few things, right? So
his next week will be Monster Train, and it'll be another fucking Joseph Fritzl joke.
So look, Gamers Watch is not racist. Gamers Watch does not punch dogs, and Gamers Watch does not support Joseph Fritzl. Okay, so let's just get those things out in the public realm. Shaun,
I think though, like just to caveat, like I think you don't have to make excuses of that, because anyone listening to this, especially if they're British, will know that this is just British dark humour. All right, and if you're not British, understand that is just the way British people are to a degree.
The majority of our listeners on Spotify,
rotters.
the majority of our listeners on audio platforms are in America. So most of the people that watch on YouTube are from Britain, and most of the people that listen via audio are in America. So they won't understand this. So they'll think that we're racist, dog-hating Fritzl lovers.
Who come on children's faces.
You can't win them all.
Put the picture in the Discord. I'm going to burst. Oh my god. This is the best podcast we've ever done.
Okay, so mine requires a bit of prior knowledge to our show, because rewarding the loyalty, but it's still crackable without that.
Okay.
So it'll be with you in 3, 2, 1, bam.
What the hell is this? What?
I'm going through Desperados 3 again, and I'm giving Breaking Bad another try. What were the odds of that happening?
So Carrie, Harry fucking hates Desperados 3, and
It's my least
fucking
favourite game
hate
of
Breaking
the
Bad.
Okay. I don't know, Shaun.
Oh, I'm quite proud of this one. I think it might have a chance of beating Paul and Zoe, but I'm not too sure. I don't want to get too hopeful.
This has to be an Xbox game, right?
It's on Game Pass, yeah.
On Game Pass.
Okay. Give me a moment to think about this. So we're talking about repetition. I think the clue in
3 hours later.
the last one is, what were the odds of that happening? So,
I've got absolutely nothing.
I've got nothing. I'm literally running a blank on this one.
I love riddles. Like, I'm the wrong person to throw a riddle at, because I love to sit there and really try and think through them. And I'm sitting here just racking my brains about what that could be. And I kind of don't want you to tell me the answer.
If you want to carry on with it, Shaun, message us in the Facebook chat.
Yeah.
And then John can carry on with it. Because I'm nowhere near this. And this is going to make...
I just want to know. I need to figure out, like when someone gives you a really good puzzle and the satisfaction of figuring it out for yourself.
I'll tell you what we'll do.
I'm sending the answer now.
I will message it to you. Oh, that is ridiculous, Shaun. That is a joke.
Fucking hell. What?
That's
John,
amazing.
You're never going to get this, mate. Ever.
I'm never going to get this.
You're never going to get this.
Yeah.
No chance. It's...
Really?
I'm absolutely...
When are you ever going to see you play Desperados 3 or me watch Breaking Bad again?
Nah.
It's a...
But nah. No one's going to get that. End the show, Shaun.
That's the whole point. I don't want so Paul to get it.
I don't think they're going to win this episode.
I don't either. Shaun, do the outro.
What is the outro normally?
Just say thanks to John and then we fuck off.
Thanks, John. Sorry about the Joseph Fritzl jokes.
It's okay, guys.
No, seriously, John, it's been really good having you on. This podcast has just devolved into madness in the last 20 minutes, and I'm really happy about that. But no, seriously, it's been awesome having you on. So thank you so much. It has been a pleasure to have you.
And good luck with the Kickstarter for the rest
Yes.
of
Thank
the
you very
campaign.
much.
And genuinely, really good luck with the Kickstarter. We hope it all goes really well, and we are all really looking forward to seeing it come through the post very shortly.
Fingers crossed.
No, it's going to get backed. Don't worry, mate. It's happening. So yeah, honestly, mate, it's been really cool. We'd love to have you on again. I'm sure we can work something out when maybe when the full Halo campaign's been out for a while. I know we've got a 1-year anniversary coming up soon, so it'd be awesome to have you on again.
It would be my pleasure.
And Duncan, thank you as always.
Thanks, you're great, mate.
No worries. And from me, Harry, keep on listening.
And me, Shaun, keep on gaming.
Well, there we go. That devolved into complete and utter madness in the end then.
I love